जी जॉइन बन रहा है। Okay. A very good morning to all of you who are present here in this session. Uh, I'm Bhaskaran. I'm a chartered accountant who is going to deal with you for the next few days with regards to your account syllabus. This revision session's primary motive is to, enable a lot of students who have been preparing, but because of various unforeseen circumstances and force majeure events, the exam is being postponed, that you might have lost touch with your papers. So this session is primarily aiming as a small responsibility on behalf of Bharadwaj Institute to enable you to keep a hands-on your papers so that you are able to attend your exam with ease. Okay, so our primary mission is to cover your full syllabus with giving proper weightage to the respective chapters that might be probably questioned to you in your exam. Okay, now before we begin with the revision session, I would like to make certain points very clear. Number one, please ensure during the session that you are uninterrupted and undisturbed for whatever reason it might be. As it was intimated to you on the group, please try to use a laptop, because in case you get an interruption through a phone call when you're using your smartphone, the meeting gets interrupted overall and your listening gets disturbed. Okay, so I would prefer you use your laptop for whoever has a laptop on your hands, and for people who do not have a laptop, please ensure you're not picking up any phone call that comes in during the session. Okay, it's going to be a 3-hour session and I want your utmost attention, because I will be giving you quite a lot of shortcuts for you to understand and quickly arrive at the answers. And these shortcuts are fully proprietary. You cannot find it anywhere over Google. So please ensure that you are paying your fullest attention here. That's point number one. Point number two, please ensure you are participative during the session. Feel free to interrupt. You can unmute yourself to interrupt in case you are unable to follow a specific point that was told in the session. Okay. Similarly, please ensure you are maintaining proper notes and workings. Today we are going to see a topic with, say, 2 parts of questions. Then by the end of the session, I will send that to you on the group as a PDF. Okay, I don't want to send it a bit earlier. Similarly, I will also be giving you 1 or 2, as say for example, today I was planning to give you, please go through the theory portion in your study material. Please ensure you are not postponing it to the next day. Please complete it within the same day so that the next day's revision becomes effective for you. Okay, clear? Right. I am beginning on the reverse direction. That is, we will be dealing with consignment joint venture, because a lot of people find this particular 2 topics a bit difficult because you've not seen it in your schooling. So we will be beginning with consignment. Tomorrow we will be dealing with joint venture and all the other portions in bits and pieces across the 4 days that we have planned. Okay, so that is what I have in mind for you. The reason why I'm beginning with these 2 topics, as I told you, is one, many of you might feel it to be slightly difficult because of the newness to the concept, since you've not seen it in your schooling, so you might find it a bit difficult. So apart from that, the topic overall per se is going to be a very, very easy cakewalk. Okay, so right, so let's begin. So what do you mean by consignment? A consignment is a contract where goods are being sent from one location to another location. The origin of the location, the person who is there at the origin is called as the consignor, and the person who receives the goods and sells it at its location is called the consignee. Okay, so accounting takes place in both of their books, because both of them are involved in the financial transactions per se. Accounting in the books of consignee is the most easiest one. Why? Because consignee is not the owner of the goods. He does not have any right over the sale value or the cost of the goods. He is only entitled for the commission and the expenses that he has spent for the consignment. Okay, which means there is going to be only 3 entries. What are those 3 entries in the books of consignee? 1, the commission. 2, whatever expenses he has spent, he is going to reimburse. And 3, when he sells, he is the person who collects the money and he has to settle the consignor. So this is the 3rd entry. Am I clear? So these 3 are the only entries which the consignee has in his books. Now, this settlement can be of 3 kinds. What are they? 1, he can settle it directly by paying cash. Okay, he just counts the currency notes, hands it in the hands of the consignor, and he just walks out. This is case 1, settlement by cash. Number 2, settlement by a bank transfer. Rather than cash, I transfer him the funds, which is most probable solution. Okay, cash settlement does not generally take place because of the geographic split between the consignor and the consignee, but generally bank transfers take place. The 3rd one is very unique. This is where bills of exchange come into picture. Okay, so this is mainly like a credit sale. See, from my perspective, whether you sell the goods, you being the consignee, or you sell it to the end consumer, for me, I need to receive cash from you, which means it is like I have sold you the goods. So the consignee enters into a bill of exchange with the consignor. Okay, this is current day. This is not being used much practically. Practical consignment do exist, but this method is not being used. Generally, it is the bank settlement method which is being used for the purpose of consignment. Am I clear? So far, am I clear? Right. So now coming to the accounting entries level. Okay. Now we are going to see what are the entries that comes in the books of the consignee. So before that, I request you to kindly open a small table. We are going to populate it with 3 columns. Entries in the books of consignor, in the books of consignee. Consignee is easy, so I am taking that first. Then we will go into consignor. Please quickly open a 3-column table. Entries in the books of consignor, in the books of consignee. Now, before we go into the entries and in the books of consignee, let us understand the series of events for you to populate the entries column. So, how does a consignment begin? The consignor sends goods to the consignee. Now, while sending, does the goods fly and go and land at the consignee's location on its own? No. You will have to spend on transportation, on insurance, and when you cross borders between states within India, or when you cross borders international or whatsoever it is, you need to pay certain taxes, octroys, duties. So all these expenses are incurred. Okay. So expenses, these expenses will be borne by the consignor. Why? Because he is only sending the goods. So he will bear these expenses. Now the goods have reached the location of the consignee. Now, from the lorry or whatever transportation vehicle that was used to commute these goods, does the goods fly and land down on its own at the consignee's location? No. Consignee also will incur certain expenses like loading. Now, where will he keep these goods? He needs to keep these goods somewhere. He needs to store them somewhere. So, warehousing expenses. And these goods have to be sold by him, which means the users or the consumers must be made aware of these goods. He must incur certain expenses on advertisement. He can either hand them out as pamphlets, or he can make announcements through radio or the local media that is present for him to propagate these goods are being available for sale. Okay, so once these expenses are incurred, sales happens. But these expenses at the consignee's location cannot be borne by the consignor because they will be incurred at different points in time. For each of these expenses, the consignee can't call up the consignor asking him to make the payment. So the consignee bears these expenses on behalf of the consignor, which will be repaid by the consignor as a lump sum. Okay, at one stroke, at the end of the contract or at the end of the full deal, the the consignee gets a reimbursement of these expenses from the consignor. Then sales happen. So the sales can either be cash sale or credit sale. We will see each of these separately. And then you compute the commission that is payable to this consignee based, excuse me, based on the sales made. After which the final settlement. This is the full scheme of event consignment contract. So based on this, we are going to go in the same order of occurrence. Okay, so that you have a checklist of what entry goes where. Am I clear? It's very much required for you because they might ask you in your paper as to what is going to be the entry pertaining to this particular transaction. You might get objectives based on that. So for that purpose, to remember this schema so that you are able to understand and appreciate as to what entry goes where. Okay, so the first entry, as I told you, the transaction begins with goods sent on consignment. So in the books, currently ignore in the books of consignor. Please use only the column named in the books of consignee. Do not populate in the books of consignor. Okay, goods sent on consignment. In the books of consignee, will you have any entry? No. Why? Because the consignee is not the owner of the goods. He does not take any title to the goods. He takes only the possession of the goods. And this agreement is a contract of agency, which means the consignee is the agent, the consignor is the principal. The agent is not bothered about the assets of the principal in his books. Am I clear? Okay. So no entry in the books of consignee for goods sent on consignment. Leave around 3 lines because in the books of consignor you will have an entry. So leave around 3 lines. Populate the next entry. Expenses spent by consignor. Goods are being sent, so consignor incurs transportation expenses, insurance, freight, octroi, duty, whatever. Okay. So expenses in the books of consignor. Again, in the books of consignee, there will be no entry. Why? Because I am spending certain expenses. What will be the entry in your books for that? No entry. Clear? Because only in my books I will have to bear the entry. So this entry also appears in the books of consignor only. Okay. So again, leave around 3 lines. Let's go to the next one. Expenses spent by consignee. I'm again repeating the first 2 entries. Goods sent on consignment, expenses spent by consignor. For both these entries, you will have no entry in the books of consignee. The third entry, expenses spent by consignee. Expenses spent by consignee. Now here you will have an entry. Why? Because you being the consignee, you are spending. This is like a loan given to the consignor. Why? Because you are going to later recover this from the consignor. Agree? Now it is like you going to the shop, okay, with your friend. Your friend buys something, but unfortunately he left his wallet at home. He says, boss, you pay now with your cash. I will come home and I will pay it to you. So what is this happening? Basically, you are lending your funds for the temporary period of an hour or so till you come back to your friend. Same concept is here. Okay. The consignee is spending these expenses on behalf of the consignor, which is later reimbursed by the consignor. Clear? So the entry will be consignor account debit to cash or bank in the books of consignee. Consignor account debit to cash or bank in the books of consignee. Shall we proceed with the next entry? All of you, we have seen 3 entries so far.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the next one. So expenses have been incurred by the consignor, by the consignee, goods are ready for sale. So the next entry is sales or consignment sales. You can call it either way, sales or consignment sales. So entry in the books of consignee. Remember, this sale is not a sale for the consignee. It is the sale for the consignor. Am I clear? Therefore, the entry in the books of consignee will get altered as cash or bank or debtors account debit. On top of debtors, just mark an asterisk, a condition supply symbol, a star, or any symbol that you can take a note of, because we'll be using the star elsewhere later. Only above debtors, okay? So cash or bank or debtors account debit to consignor. To consignor. Why? Because this is not a sale to the consignee, it is a sale of consignor. We'll come to the consignor's books next. Okay, let's complete consignee's books in the table. The next transaction is, now sale has happened. So I have to pay him, me being the consignor, the consignment commission. He has done service for me by selling my goods. So the next entry is consignment commission. Consignment commission. Now this is an income to the consignee, and therefore the entry will be consignor to consignment commission. Consignor to consignment commission. The last entry in the table, settlement. Now who has to settle whom? Consignee has to settle consignor because the sale proceeds are with consignee. You get my point? So the entry will be consignor account debit to cash or bank. Consignor account debit to cash or bank. Clear? I am again repeating the entries. Please check whether you have written it properly. Do not make a mistake in this table, because you will lose on the full problem of consignment if any entry in this goes wrong. Okay, goods sent on consignment, consignee's book no entry. Expenses spent by consignor, consignee's book no entry. Expenses spent by consignee, consignor account debit to cash or bank. Then sales made by consignee or consignment sales, it is going to be cash or bank or debtors. Above debtors, I asked you to make an asterisk to consignor. Then consignment commission, consignor account debit to consignment commission. And the last one, settlement entry, it is going to be consignor account debit to cash or bank. Am I clear? 6 entries we have seen in the books of consignee. Now, this is the next book which we are going to see, which is consignor. This is the most important book because the profit or loss, all the impact of the transactions in the consignment is going to be only in the books of consignor. Just a moment, one of your friends have pinged something. Sir, consignee जब expenses click करता है. Okay, you want the entry for consignee's expenses, I believe. Am I right? I would prefer English. I'm not that well at Hindi, so please bear with me in English, Gaurav. The entry for consignee's expenses is what you've asked. Am I right? Can you please confirm? Okay. Entry for consignee's expenses will be consignor account debit to cash or bank. Consignor account debit to cash or bank. All the entries we have seen so far is in the books of consignee. Okay? Right. So now coming into the books of consignor. So for goods sent on consignment, this is like an opening stock. Okay? The easiest way to understand the books of consignor is to correlate each of these entries with your normal financial book entries. Okay? So goods sent on consignment is what? Is nothing but your opening stock. So in your trading account, where will this appear? This appears on the debit side. So the entry will be consignment account debit to goods sent on consignment. Consignment account debit to goods sent on consignment for the goods sent on consignment. Okay. Now, what is this consignment account? This is something new. This consignment account is nothing but your profit and loss account. Okay. It's a nominal account by nature. All of your profits, your expenses, your income, your various spendings on behalf of the consignment goes into this profit and loss account called consignment. Now, why is this separate account being prepared? Because this is a deal. Okay, a deal in the sense this is going to be a specified part of your business. It's like a portion of your business. Okay, this is not your full business. You can have 200 consignments happening parallelly. Now, each of these items, how much profit it has given, this is how you measure it. Okay, so this account is prepared for every consignment deal that you make. Clear? So for goods sent on consignment, the entry is going to be consignment account debit to goods sent on consignment. Now, the next entry is expenses spent by consignor. I am going in the same order, just keep populating in the column of books of consignor. Okay. So expenses spent by consignor. What is going to be the entry? Consignment expenses account debit to cash or bank. Consignor is incurring on his own, which means he is going to make the payment. Therefore, this cash or bank balance comes down. This goes against the expenses. These are not the normal business expenses, but pertaining to consignment. So I give it a prefix consignment. Okay. Consignment expenses account debit to cash or bank. Now, if it's going to be insurance, it's consignment insurance. If it's going to be loading, consignment loading, whatever it is. Okay. The next one, expenses spent by consignee. Now this is interesting. These are expenses spent by consignee, but whose P&L will this hit? These expenses will hit the profit and loss account of the consignor. Agree? Because all these expenses are incurred for whom? For the consignment. And the consignment's profit belongs to whom? The consignor. Therefore, expenses spent by consignee, the entry will be consignment expenses account debit to consignee rather than cash and bank. He is not incurring directly, but on behalf of him, the consignee is incurring. So the consignee becomes a creditor for this entry in the books of the consignor. Okay. So the entry will be consignment expenses account debit to consignee. Shall I proceed? First three entries are done. All of you with me? Anyone wants me to repeat any entry?
Please repeat the third entry, sir.
The third entry. Consignment expenses account debit to consignee. To consignee. Okay. So all the expenses are incurred. Now sales is happening. When sales happen, these sales belong to the consignor, as I told you, because the title of the goods is with the consignor. So the entry will be consignee account debit to consignment sales. Consignee account debit to consignment sales. Consignee account debit to consignment sales. Okay. Now in this entry where you have written consignee, also add debtors and add that asterisk symbol. So consignee or debtors account debit to consignment sales. We will use this asterisk below. Don't worry. You will understand as to why I gave that asterisk there. Consignee or debtors account debit to consignment sales. Shall we proceed, all of you? So now consignment sales has happened, which means my service has been done by my agent. Now I need to pay this agent who's the consignee. So I pay him through this commission. The entry will be, now remember, this commission is an expense for the consignor. Okay, so here it will be debited. So consignment expenses to consignee. The same entry will appear here, just that the expenses is replaced with the word commission. Okay, so consignment commission to consignee. That is your commission due entry or commission entry. Consignment commission. Consignment commission account debit to consignee. Am I clear? Shall I proceed? Now, consignor receives the settlement from the consignee. The entry will be bank or cash account debit to consignee. Bank or cash account debit to consignee. Am I clear? All of you? Any entries you want me to repeat?
Sir, can you explain the last entry, sir?
Friend, you'll have to be a bit louder if you don't mind.
Sir, can you explain the last entry, sir?
The last entry. Okay. Uh, the last settlement takes place between the consignor and the consignee. The consignee transfers the sale consideration to the consignor. So you are receiving the funds. So bank or cash account debit, whichever mode it is going to be. To who? Who is paying you? The consignee. So cash or bank to consignee.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. All of you clear so far?
Sir, please explain the fourth entry, sir.
Can you give me the transaction?
Sales or consignment?
Consignment sales. Consignee or debtors account debit to consignment sales. Now, please understand the sales that is happening belongs to the consignor. Since it is a sale and sales is an income that is getting credited. Now, to whom am I selling? I do not know the end consumer to whom the consignee is making the sale. Okay, all I know is the consignee has to pay me. So consignee becomes a customer in my book for this entry perspective. So consignee becomes a debtor in my book. So consignee account debit to consignment sales. Clear? All of you? Okay. Take a moment time. The time is 6:58 by my clock. I'll give you 2 minutes. I want you to quickly, see if you can memorize these entries so that we will go into the part 2 of this conceptual understanding, which is the special cases. Please quickly run past through these entries. right? Over. Shall we proceed with the special cases?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay. Now coming to the special cases. There are 4 special cases under consignment that they can test you on. The first one is called invoice price. Okay. So please make a note of it. The first case is invoice price. Now what is this invoice price? The best example that I generally give is your optical industry or any kind of market where monopoly exists. Okay. Now, just imagine this practical scenario. Just 1 minute, sorry. I have 2 to 3 questions on chat. Why does consignment sales comes on the debit side of consignment account? How come, friend? I have given you consignee account debit to consignment sales. I have not given consignment account debit to consignment sales. Please make a correction. Had you written consignment on the debit, it is consignee, CONSIGNEE. Consignee account debit to consignment sales. Okay? Yeah. The other question. Oh, okay. The other one is also you. Fine. Done. When it comes to this invoice price, let us understand it from a very practical perspective as to why this complication came into picture. Now, in case of a monopoly market, the most important characteristic in monopoly is that you are the price fixer, which means if you say the price is going to be X, it is going to be X. No one has the right or no one has a competitive edge over you to sell at a lesser price or to give a better benefit than you because you are the only person in the market. Agree? Now, say for example, my cost is going to be 10 rupees per unit. I am consigning it to you and I ask you to sell, me being the monopoly, I ask you to sell at 120 rupees. What is my profit? Ignoring commission? 110 rupees profit. Agree? Yes? Now I say, when you sell at 110, I will pay you 5% of 110. How is this possible? I am just manufacturing. I am asking you to sell. You take all the pains of wasting your energy going from door to door, from person to person, asking him, begging him to buy the product. You then make the sale after spending your full day, but then you are getting only 5%, whereas I am getting an abnormal profit of 105 rupees approx. Do you understand the irony? So what will you do? You being the consignee, you will start demanding a higher margin. You know that 110 rupees I am getting a profit, of which I am paying you only 5 rupees. This is not fair. So you will automatically start to inflate your commission. You will say, no, 5% not enough. Give me 25% because I am the only person who is doing the marketing for you. Yes or no? Now, problem on behalf of whom? On behalf of the consignor. Sir, his proprietary right, his brain, his IPR, he has used everything to bring out that product as a monopoly. Agree? You are able to understand this perspective. So, what will he say? He being the seller, he'll say, sir, this particular product is worth like 100 rupees, sir. I am giving you 20% margin. Actual cost is how much? It is only 10 rupees. But then, unless I disclose that the cost is 10 rupees, will the other person know? He won't know. So, to safeguard the profit margin, the consignor started inflating their value of goods sent. Okay, this revised inflated value is called as invoice price. Do you understand? Here, this 10 rupee product, me sending it to you at rupees 100 as value. This 100 is called invoice price. This 10 is called cost. Now, the problem is not in inflating this. The problem comes in accounting for this. Why? Because stock has to be accounted where? At what value? Is it at inflating value?
Cost,
No,
cost
it's
or
at
NRV,
cost.
whichever is less.
That's for valuation of closing stock. But then, normally any transaction has to be measured only at cost as per historical cost concept, which we will be seeing on the later part when we are dealing with the theory portion. Okay, so this historical cost concept is violated if you now account for goods sent on consignment. Yes or no? But then I can't say to my consignee that the cost of goods is 10, then he will demand a more commission. So to avoid all these complications, I will record the goods sent at 100, but then reverse the excess 90. How did I get this 90? 100 invoice price minus 10 cost. This excess 90 gets reversed back in my consignment account. Okay. This 90 or the value of inflation that I have made from my cost is called stock loading. Am I clear? This is available both for opening and closing stock. This is appearing on the opposite side of whichever entry you are processing. If it's for opening stock will, or goods sent on consignment will be on the debit. This will appear on the credit to offset the effect of debit. Okay, and vice versa for closing stock. So closing stock will appear on the credit side of P&L. P&L here is the consignment account, so it appears on the credit side of consignment account. The stock loading on closing stock will appear on the debit side of consignment account. I personally prefer not to show on the closing stock. Sir, opening stock, yes, you have to show. But on the closing stock, please show it as a working and show the net value on the credit side. Do not show the inflated value on the credit side and loading on the debit side when you are working for your MCQs. Clear? Because you might get confused and you might get missed out on the closing stock loading, which is very risky. Do not end up losing marks there. Am I clear? Okay. So please take it down. Invoice price hyphen. Invoice price hyphen. It is normal for the consignor. It is normal for the consignor to inflate the value of goods. To inflate the value of goods sent. To inflate the value of goods sent in order to protect his share of profits. His share of profits. Full stop. This inflated value is called invoice price. This inflated value is called invoice price, and the amount of increase in value, above cost is called stock loading. Is called stock loading. Full stop. Under that, accounting entry hyphen. The stock loading is an unrealized profit. The stock loading is an unrealized profit and is removed from the value of goods sent, and is removed from the value of goods sent. Okay, under that please write the journal entry for goods sent. What is the entry? Consignment account debit to goods sent on consignment. In bracket please write invoice price. In bracket please write invoice price. So below that, stock loading account debit to consignment account in the bracket for removal of loading. Stock loading account debit to consignment account in bracket for removal of loading. So in the example I told you, consignment to goods sent on consignment will be how much? 100. Okay, whereas this entry, stock loading to consignment, will be for 90. Clear? All of you clear with this?
Yes, sir.
Shall we proceed with the next one? Next, special case.
Yes, sir.
Okay. The next special case is going to be commission and del credar commission. Commission and del credar commission. DELCREDRE, del credar. Del credar is the Latin term for bad debt. Okay. Please repeat the invoice price entries. Okay. I'm again repeating the invoice price entries. Please take it down for people who have been completed that portion. The first entry is goods sent on consignment. Okay. This you can pick it up from the table. The entry is going to be consignment account debit to goods sent on consignment for the invoice value of goods or invoice price of goods. The second entry for removal of stock loading is going to be stock loading account debit to consignment account. Stock loading account debit to your profit and loss account, which is your P&L here, your consignment. So stock loading account debit to consignment account. Shall I proceed, Anjali? Yeah, fine. So the second one is commission and del credar commission. Del credar is the Latin term for bad debt. Please remember this. Del credar means bad debt. It might be an objective question. Okay, right. So what is this? Now, if you remember, I told you to make a small conditions apply mark about debtors. Okay, that conditions apply is drawn reference here. Now, imagine you are sending goods overseas. Okay, you are sending goods to some person in China or Japan or Korea or whichever place where you do not know the language of the land. Now, as I told you, the sales belongs to whom? Consignor. Therefore, the credit sales risk of collection also belongs to the consignor. Agree? It is like me selling your goods. I sell it to a person. You ask me to even accept credit sale. So I sell it to a person. Now that person is not paying. Now I come back to you stating, sir, I sold so and so goods to this person. And now that guy is not paying me. So kindly ensure you are going directly and collecting it rather than me going followed up. Sorry, the Latin word of bad debt is del credar. Okay, so please, you being the consignor, you being the ultimate sole responsible person for the sales and the collections, please go and collect it from him. Now imagine you go to that person and you speak in the language that you know of, and later that guy is going to respond to you back in his language. How will you respond? You can't understand a single word what he says, neither can he understand a single word that you say. Do you think the collection will actually go through? No. This is where this del credar plays a role. The del credar commission is paid for bearing the risk of bad debt. Okay, which means you are saying to the consignee, I don't mind you selling for any credit sale, but then the risk of collection is on you. Don't ask me to go behind that customer whom you sold it to. That Tom, Dick and Harry might be an extraordinary cheater, or that guy can be even your own partner in crime. Okay, I can even sell it to my family member stating it is a credit sale and he is a totally different member. Later you go and ask him for the payment, he will say, no, I never made the purchase at all from this person. It is possible. Okay, so the risk is totally high, which means I cannot go behind, me being the consignor, go behind every credit sale that has happened at a distant location. So what is the purpose of this consignment? It is to expand my market geographically, without me going to that location physically. I am in India. I need not go to that consignee's location for me to sell the goods there. Now, if I'm going to make the collection, I am invariably going there, which means I myself can sell it. What is the use in me giving this consignment? Okay, So to bear the credit risk or to bear the risk of bad debt, I pay the consignee a special commission. Okay, this commission is called del credar commission. Okay, this is point number one. This is in addition to your normal commission. Please understand. Now, why is this to be paid in addition? The sale is yours, the goods is yours, the profit is yours. All the amount that the consignee is receiving is that 1% or 5% or 10% of commission on sales that you are paying him. Why did he bear the risk of non-collection of sales? Sales is yours, but collection belongs to him. How does this make sense? So to compensate this, you are paying this additional commission. Clear? Del credar is always paid on credit sales only. But now think from the consignee's angle. Sir, whether I am making it as a credit sale or a cash sale, I am going to get this del credar commission on the credit sale. Agree? Which means the risk of settlement is on whom now? It is on consignee. No more consignor for the credit sale. So, is the consignor now bothered about how much credit sale is happening? Whether I make, say, suppose I'm making a total sale of 100, I being the consignee, and I am being paid del credar. Now, the consignor is he bothered whether I'm making 50% on credit, 50% on cash, or 100% on credit? No. Why? Because consignee anyway has to settle the consignor. Bad debt cannot be transferred to the consignor. Do you get my point? Therefore, the consignee will no more show the breakup of credit and cash sale. He will just say consignment sale and he will say the full thing is credit. Because he needs to make more revenue because he is bearing the risk of credit. Okay? So, in your problems, del credar is always computed on the total. Please do not confuse the theory portion with the problems. In your theory, if they are going to ask on what base is del credar computed, it is on credit sale. But in your problems, it is computed on the total value of sales made. Am I clear? All of you? So, when del credar is paid, debtors appear in the books of consignee. When del credar is not paid, debtors will appear in the books of consignor. Okay? So below this, how did we complete? Can any one of you kindly unmute and read the sentence that was given to you? Did we write something? Consignment commission and del credar? No. Okay. So start writing. Del credar means bad debt. Del credar means bad debt. The risk of debtors for credit sales, the risk of debtors for credit sales is on the consignor as he enjoys the profit of consignment. As he enjoys the profit on consignment. Next point. However, the practical difficulty for collection of credit sales and risk of bad debts is very high, and risk of bad debts is very high because the buyer or the customer or the credit customer, because the credit customer is unknown to the consignor. Is unknown to the consignor. But known only to the consignee. That is the important point. But known only to the consignee. The next point. So it is easier for the consignee to collect. So it is easier for the consignee to collect how I've forgotten the sentence I've told you here. Okay. Can anyone please repeat from however? Kindly unmute yourself and can you please repeat? I've forgotten the exact words that I've used.
However, the practical difficult for collection of credit sales and risk of bad debts is very high because the credit customer is unknown to the consignor,
Okay.
but known only to consignor.
Okay. However, the risk of collection, I'm rephrasing it. It won't be verbatim because I'm telling it out of my mind. So kindly bear with me. You can write it down in your own understanding sentences. Okay. However, the risk of collection is quite high or is very high because the credit customer is not known to the consignor but only known to the consignee. Why? Because he is only making the sale. Okay. Shall I proceed, Devadarshini? Shall I proceed, Devadarshini? Yeah. Okay. Done. So it is easier for the consignee. So it is easier for the consignee to make the collection of credit sales rather than the consignor. Full stop. Continue. Rather than the consignor. Full stop. Continue. Moreover, the decision to make the credit sale, to that customer is with the consignee. Agree? Not for every sale can the consignee keep calling the consignor asking, sir, this person has come, can I sell on credit? Sir, this person has come, can I sell on credit? Okay, so this is a decentralized decision, which means the consignor is not taking the call. It is the consignee who decides whether to sell it to the customer on credit or not. Okay, and so the risk of bad debt, ideally should be okay. Moreover, the decision to sell on credit to the customer, is taken by the consignee. And ideally, such bad debt risk is also to be borne by him. And ideally, such bad debt risk is also to be borne by him. Full stop. The next point. To bear this additional risk, comma, the consignee is paid. The consignee is paid del credar commission. Del credar commission, which is computed as a percentage on credit sales. Under that note, if you have a different color pen, please use it. Under that note, in the problems, compute del credar on total sales. In the problem, comma, always compute del credar on total sale. Okay? Clear? Always compute del credar on total sale. This is only from the problems. In your objective, they are going to ask del credar is computed on dash. Please remember, it is only on credit sale. Practical cases, it's totally different, friends. Okay? These are all only theoretical concepts. These have been evolved more from the theory in practical cases. So let's not venture into the practical case at all. We will only stick to our exam perspective. Shall I proceed? All of you with me? The entry is going to remain the same. Okay? Whatever we saw as consignment commission, the same entry will appear here. There is no changes there. Just that consignment commission will become consignment del credar commission. That's it. Gaurav, you have asked, del credar commission have to be paid. So will it directly paid on credit sales? Is there no role for recovery of bad debts? The risk of bad debts itself gets transferred, friend. Aman, del credar is on credit sales, but when you are doing your problem, compute it on total sales. That's what I meant in the note. Okay, so in your problem, always compute on total sale. But del credar is generally only on credit sale. In your problem, they will not give you the bifurcation as credit sale how much, cash sale how much. So compute it on total sale. Okay. Coming back to Gaurav's one, please wait. The next point will clarify your doubt, Gaurav. Okay. So below that, the next point below the note. When del credar is paid, comma, when del credar is paid, comma, Annamalai, the link will be shared to you. All these live sessions are recorded parallelly. So don't worry. No. Please wait, Shruti. Please wait. Allow me to complete the full adjustment, then ask your queries. Okay? Please kindly hold on. I have not yet completed the adjustment. Kindly wait. When del credar is paid, comma, debtors appear in the books of consignee. Now, for this point, please use that asterisk, that conditions apply. What you made there when we populated the table for consignment sales, use that asterisk mark here. Okay? Because this is the clarification to that conditions apply. These are the terms and conditions for that asterisk you mark there. When del credar is paid, debtors appear in the books of consignee. When del credar is not paid, continue on the same point. When del credar is not paid, debtors appear where? In the books of consignor. Okay, continue. The point is not yet over. Bad debts appear in the books having debtors. Bad debts appear in the books having debtors. So, if consignee accounts debtors, then bad debts will be in the books of consignee. If consignor accounts debtors, then bad debts will be in the books of consignor. Am I clear? Am I clear? Now, Gaurav, your query is sorted. This commission is paid only for this recovering portion. How you are going to, who is going to take the responsibility to collect from debtors? That is what is this del credit for. Mrinalini, sir, bad debts appear in the books of consignee when del creditor is paid. It appears in the books of consignor when del creditor is not paid. I just told, I am again repeating, Bhuvaneshwari. Bad debts appear in the books of consignee when del creditor is not, when del creditor is paid. It appears in the books of consignee. When del creditor is not paid, debtors appear in the books of consignor. Bad debts appear in the books where debtors are accounted. Am I clear? This is part 1 of the adjust or part 2 of the adjustment. We have completed del creditor. Now coming to commission. Shall I proceed? All of you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sir, commission is a very tricky area. Now you need to understand, I am already inflating the price. Am I giving that cost? No. I am saying 20% above cost only. I am telling the cost as invoice price to you. Poor guy, chap, you don't know that I am actually inflating the price. You try your level best to put in additional effort. Say, for example, in my locality, I am selling the product for 120. I am saying I am transferring you the goods at 120. Do you think you will be able to sell it above 120 at your place in a perfectly competitive environment? But still you fight your way out, you try to figure out a way wherein you are able to sell it at a better price at 125, 130 so that your commission goes up. Your commission is on your sales. Okay, your commission goes up. Now, I myself gave you 120, which is already containing a profit. Poor guy, you are spending your throat energy, your effort, and you are making it furthermore inflated by 5 rupees or 10 rupees, which means my profit goes up. I am very happy, me being the consignor. But then me just walking away with it. Does that sound rationally correct? No. I have to pay you a bonus for that amount of excess you've made. Had you even made the sale at 120, I am not going to stop you because already my profit is secure. Am I right? So this additional bonus can be given in the problem. They might say the consignee is to be paid 20% commission on excess over invoice price and 5% on the total sales. So this is two commission involved. One, my normal commission 5%. Two, my additional commission of 20%. This is the first part. When I told you consignment commission and del creditor, I meant the consignment commission as this. Okay, this is the additional consignment commission that you need to pay. This is only a computational, I would say it is only a computational magic. It has nothing to do with your accounting entry. Your accounting entry remains the same. For all the commission that you're going to pay, the basic commission, the additional commission, and the del creditor commission, it is going to be the same entry. And what is the same entry? In the books of consignor, it is consignment commission expenses to consignee. In the books of consignee, it is consignor to consignment commission. Clear? The accounting entry remains the same. It is only the purpose or the method of computation that is undergoing a change. All of you clear with this? Okay? Yeah. Which commission, Ashwin? Is it the del creditor or the additional commission? Del creditor is for you, the consignee to remember that he cannot sell on credit to any Tom, Dick and Harry who he does not know. He has to be proprietary enough in order to take the risk of bad debt in case if the credit sale that he made goes wrong. It is not to discourage bad debt. It is to ensure that the credit sale takes place to credit-worthy customers. That's it. Am I clear, Ashwin? Yeah. Any other people who had been me? No. Okay, fine. Thank you, Jay Suraj. Don't worry, we'll be giving you feedback. Please do not keen the feedback in between here. Kindly do not interrupt the session. Just listen only to the session. Because this consignment topic, if I am taking it on a regular pace, will take 3 days for me to complete. Since this is a revision, I am giving you only the crux behind it. So please pay heed to it. Do not interrupt with any other comments. Any doubts, please ping me. Else, do not use the chat for anything else. Yeah. So coming back. So below that, that is part 2 of this consignment commission in Del Credar. Please note, additional commission or bonus commission. You can term it with whatever name you want, because both these terms will not be given in the problem. Okay, it is just for your understanding. Additional commission or bonus commission. Under that, this is part 2 of the same adjustment. Okay, this is generally computed at a higher rate. This is generally computed at a higher rate above a benchmark selling price. Above a benchmark selling price. Full stop. Full stop. This is to encourage the consignee. This is to encourage the consignee to make the best sale possible in the market. Basically, a salesman commission. Okay, to make the best sale possible in the market. Clear? Okay. Under that, this is only a computation, no change in entries. This is only a computation, no change in entries. So we have successfully completed case 2. So case 1 we saw invoice price and stock loading. Case 2 we have successfully seen the various forms of commission payable. Clear so far? All of you? The time is 7:38 by my clock. I'll give you 2 minutes. Quickly run through the 2 adjustments that we have seen. We will then proceed with case 3 and case 4, the special cases. This is only for computation. There is no change in entries. There is no change in entries. Don't worry, don't worry. We are going to see a lot of illustrations. Please take down the theory portion so that you will be able to correlate each one with the rest. Okay? Do not worry. I have all illustrations, everything planned for you. Do not worry. Okay. Done? Also take a moment of time. I've sent you a Google form. Quickly fill up the Google form. You will be getting this across all of my sessions. This is for me to just document whoever attended my session on which date. It's only for my internal personal perspective. Please kindly fill up this form quickly. I'll give you additional 2 minutes, then we will proceed. I've sent the link over chat. Kindly fill up this form. Please do not exit after filling the form. Please stay in the session. This is nothing to do, though the form is titled as attendance, this is nothing to do with that. So we will see that, Veena. Your chat, I've considered that. We will see that. Quickly fill up the attendance, please. This is only for my personal record. This is nothing to do as a tracker or anything per se. For my friends who attended the session, foundation session with Bharadwaj, the order in which I'm taking might slightly differ, but then the concept remains the same. If you compare the notes with whatever we are going to do here in this revision with whatever was given during the classes, the regular classes, you will see that the concept is remaining the same. It is just that the order or the way in which it is expressed is slightly different. Okay, because this is revision, that is classroom. It's a totally different ballgame. For people who have just now completed the 2 adjustments, I've given you the attendance sheet. Kindly fill in that Google form that's been circulated. Oh, okay. Sir, what happens? Ashwin, you have asked this question. Sir, what happens to the Delhi Credit Commission if bad debts becomes irrecoverable? Very simple. Bad debts is borne by the consignee. That is the purpose for which I am paying him the commission. The purpose for me to pay the commission to him for bad debts is this, nothing else. Sir, for intermediate, your institute would have direct classes. Second, what do you mean by direct classes? Is it physical class? This is only for CA students. This is, I meant ICAA registration number in the sense Institute of Cost Accountants of India registration number. You want me to change the jargon as ICMA? I am ready to make the change. Jagan, physical classes is left to the government regulations. Jagan, unless the students, the family, every one of them are feeling comfortable for you to travel down for the regular classes, we might have only online sessions. But don't worry, we are also paying a very close heed and watch as to what's happening. So hopefully, with God's grace, that we will resume soon. Okay. But then till that, you will have online sessions to ensure your preparation does not get stopped. This is only for CMA, friend. Wait, let me change, since you guys are getting confused, let me change the jargon. Kindly hold with me for a moment. Yeah, can you kindly refresh the form, please? If you have a confusion, just refresh the form. You will now see that it has become ICMAI registration number because your profession is denoted as CA, so I meant it as Cost Accountant of India registration number, nothing else. Okay, Ashwin. So the amount of commission payable to the consignee will be reduced with no. Okay. Kindly wait. I will give you a case illustration where you can understand this. Okay. Please wait, Ashwin. I'll give you the case illustration. Friends, all of you have filled up? Right. The time is over. So let us now proceed. Now for the query that Ashwin asked, now let us understand with an example. Is my board clearly visible to all of you? Because I'm going to use my board for this. Is it clearly visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, fine. So let us consider there is going to be a sale of 2,50,000. Okay. Now, on this particular sale that's happening, I know that around 50,000 alone is credit and 2 lakhs is going to be cash. So this portion is no risk. I sold, I've received cash, I'm going to pay my consignor. Now this 50,000 is the problem. I might have sold this 50,000 to a person who knows only Mandarin. Mandarin is ancient Chinese, wherein you do not know even the modern Chinese. Now, how will you recover? You can't call this fellow, you being the consignor, asking for the cash, because he won't understand. He will start shouting at you at bad words, which you won't understand. For both the cases, it's like shouting at each other in a language which you don't understand. Correct? So, what happens? I say to the, that is, you say me, you only sold, no? You go and collect it from him. Very reasonable. But this is not a part of consignment. What is consignment? Consignment is the contract to sell goods at a different location. It has nothing to do with collection of debtors. Agree? Yes or no? So I say on this I will pay you 5%, which is a normal commission. On this, since you are going and taking the risk of collecting, I will pay you additional 1% del credit. So even if he doesn't pay, it is up to me to go to him, follow up, collect. For that service of follow up that I am making, I am getting this additional commission. Now, what if this guy doesn't pay? What will you say? You did not follow up properly, that is why he did not pay, you bear the expense. Yes or no? So this full 50,000 will be borne by me, not you. You being the consignor, me being the consignee. So I will anyway pay you 2,50,000. Whether I like it or not, I have to pay you 2,50,000. If 50,000 is not recoverable, I will have to bear the loss, not you. For that, I pay you 1%. Now, from my angle, think. What will I say? Whether I make it on, whether this is going to be fully 2,50,000 or 50,000, I have to pay you how much? 2,50,000. Agree? So I will always say I made full sales only on credit. Pay 1% of del credit on this number. Now the consignor does not know the breakup, like how I do not know the cost, because I only am making the sale. Only I know what is the internal bifurcation. I will always try to make most out of it. That is why in your problems, they will generally not say this. They will generally not give you the split between cash and credit. They will always say that the sale made was 2,50,000. Do you now understand, Ashwin? Ashwin, do you understand? Clear? Shall I proceed with the third case? All of you? Friends, shall I proceed with the third case? Right. Okay. 1 minute. I've got another question. Mrinalini, sir, already the 2 lakh paid. Why consignee should pay the full amount? No, yeah, I'm saying the full value. 2 lakh is being paid. What happens to the 50,000 is the question. Now, when del credit is paid, whether or not the debt is being collected by me, I have to pay you 50,000. That is what I meant when I said 2,50,000. Who will pay the del credit commission? The consignor will pay it to the consignee. It is your normal commission entry. But then this has a special purpose for del credit. That is why it is called as del credit commission. Consignor will pay to the consignee for the consignee to bear the risk of bad debt. Okay, Jagan? Jagan, are you fine? Shall I proceed with case 3? Yeah. So case 3. This is going to be an interesting case. Okay. Closing stock. Closing stock. Sir, you have to understand there are certain consignments where you are having a longer period of sale. Say, for example, it might take around 3 years for the consignment to complete. It is possible. Okay. There are some cases where the transportation itself takes time. Say, for example, I am using sea freight. I am loading the goods. It might take 2 weeks for the goods to reach your location. It is not like today I send it, tomorrow you will be selling it and closing the consignment. Now, what if I load the goods on the ship only on 29th of March, wherein 31st of March I am closing the books? What happens? I will have a closing stock. This is one case of closing stock. The second closing stock is, I might have sent you 2 lakh units to be sold, wherein you might have managed only to sell 1,50,000 units and you need additional time to sell the remaining 50,000 units. So this is the second type of closing stock. Do you agree? So valuation of closing stock becomes a problem in both these instances. Now, to understand the valuation of closing stock, you will have to know accounting standard 2. This is an inter-syllabus. This portion which you are going to see now, you will be dealing in detail in your intermediate level, but then you will have to know about this to understand this adjustment. It is easier for me to just give you a format and walk out. Okay? But that is not going to solve the purpose. Please understand as to why that format came into existence. We are going to do the format, but understand. Okay? So accounting standard 2 speaks on inventories. Okay? This is one of the most important standards from a cost accountant perspective, because you are going to play a very, very bigger role in a manufacturing environment. Okay, where cost records are of utmost importance. Your basic role is to manage cost. Okay, as the title says, cost accountant. Okay, so how will you manage cost when you do not know the exact value of inventory in accounting? This standard gives you the clarity towards it. Okay, the standard's purpose is to say what is included in the cost of a finished good. Now, the standard gives a very, very simple formula. It says, sir, say suppose this phone, okay, or this case cover of the phone. The moment this cover is complete, till that whatever cost is incurred, include. Once this cover is complete and is ready for sale, the cost addition stops. Now, what does that mean? Sir, for this cover to be made, I need raw material, I need some machinery, I need some labor, I need 1 or 2 other expenses to be incurred. By the time this cover comes out as the as a finished product from the line. Say for example, imagine a big line, okay, a factory line, where one end I keep dumping all the raw materials, the other end I keep receiving the finished product. Okay, now the moment this unit comes out from the line, it is ready for sale. Agree? Yes or no? So all expenses incurred till the point it comes out is added to the cost. Very, very simple. Okay. Now use the same logic in consignment. Sir, valuation of closing stock has 2 parts: cost or market price, whichever is less. We are now seeing cost. Okay. AS2 says any expense incurred till the finished good is ready for sale. Available for sale? No. Ready for sale. Okay. Available for sale means I have an open order for 2,50,000 units. It is available for sale. Anyone who is ready to manufacture, please take. The finished goods is not yet ready. Therefore, inventory cannot start itself. It's accounting. Okay. It is ready for sale. This unit must be there, wherein a person comes and asks in the factory, sir, I need that particular unit. Can I take it? Here is a price for it. Yes, please take it. That level it should be. You need not leave it on display. It must be ready to be transferred to you. Till that portion, it must be capitalized. This is AS2. Very, very important concept. For you, all the more important because you're going to deal with cost records. Okay. Now, in consignment, what is ready for sale? The goods must have reached the consignee's location. Agree? All of you agree? Because at the consignor's location, it is already ready, but not for sale at the consignee's location. It is ready for sale at the consignee's location when the goods reach the consignee's location. So all expenses incurred till such goods reaches the consignee's location is allowed as cost in consignment. Clear? Okay, so under closing stock, please write this. Under closing stock, please write this. Closing stock valued at cost or NRV. Please take this down. It is not market price going forward. It is NRV, whichever is less. What is NRV? We will see next. First, let us complete part A of the closing stock, which is cost. Okay, so under cost, just underline, write it as part A. Under NRV, write it as part B. Just underline and make a note, something like this. Okay, cost, underline this, write this as part A. Something like this, I want you to write so that you are able to understand that it has two parts and one part is what we are doing now. Okay, so after that, shall I proceed? Below that, please write part A. Below that, please write part A. Can I proceed, all of you? Okay, closing stock, Bhuvaneshwari for you. Closing stock valued at cost or NRV, whichever is less. Under that, cost, underline it, have it as part A. We are going to do part A now. So part A hyphen cost. This is a very, very small table that I want you to populate. You will end up with the cost. Okay. Particulars per unit total. Particulars per unit total. Shall I proceed? 3 columns, particulars per unit total. Shall I begin? Okay, right. Cost of goods. In particulars column, cost of goods. So in the per unit column, you will compute, or it will be given, you will compute the total. One of them will be given for sure. You will compute the other for the total value of the consignment. Okay, always remember, say suppose I am sending 500 units, you will compute the total for the 500 units. I am not bothered about the total column at the end. That is different. But there is a reason why I am saying this. This is for the subsequent, not for the cost. Okay, next. Expenses of consignor. Expenses of consignor in the bracket excluding advertisement and storage. There might be some cases where the consignor bears the advertisement and storage at the consignee's location. Okay, advertisement can be through another agent altogether. So in such cases, please ignore the advertisement and the storage. Why? Because they both do the existence of the product at the consignee's location. Whether I spend for advertisement or not, the product can still be made available at the consignee's location. Whether I am going to store the product at the consignee's location or not, still I can ensure that the product is available for sale at the consignee's location. So storage and advertisement costs are always to be ignored. Okay, the next add expenses at consignee's location. Do not worry, we will be doing a problem for this specific purpose in the due course of this session. So don't worry, you will get a hang of it. Add expenses at the consignee's end or consignee's expenses. Okay. Again in bracket excluding advertisement and storage cost. Excluding advertisement and storage cost. Total costs. So per unit you will add up, total also you will add up. After this stage, that total column becomes irrelevant. Okay, I will tell you why this total column I had to write. Please do not worry. Please bear with me for some time. Total cost. Clear so far? I am again repeating the 4 line items. Cost of goods, consignor's expenses excluding storage and ad, consignee's expenses excluding storage and advertisement. That gives me storage costs. That gives me total costs. Shall I proceed? Okay. Now comes NRV. Now what is this net realizable value? Let us consider a very, very simple example. Sir, you have a magic Sorry? Mrinalini, I've given you 4 line items in the table. Cost of goods, add consignor, add consignee. Anyway, you have to add all the 3. That's it. That gives you total cost. Over. Clear? Yes, Sairupa, want to say something? Okay, fine. So, coming into net realizable value, let us understand. Now you have a magic vessel. Okay, the magic vessel every day generates 100 rupee note for the next 1 month. Assuming the next month is that is, you have 30 days in a month. Okay, forget which month, the name of the month and all. For the next 30 days, every day you will get a 100 rupee note. But you have to put a 1 rupee coin inside to get the 100 rupee note. So effectively, per day, what is your revenue? Is it 100? It is going to be 100 minus the 1 rupee you are going to put. Agree? Correct? Now, AS2 says, before AS2 came into existence, it was cost or market price, which means I will take the sale value of this particular bowl per day as 100 because I know 100 rupees is going to come out of this. But what happens to that 1 rupee that I have to put in? Okay, so the standard said reduce this market price with the cost that you need to incur in order for the revenue to reach you. Okay, this 1 rupee is nothing but my selling expenses. Okay, so for this particular consignment to take place, I have to pay my consignee consignment commission. Agree? So from the sale proceeds of this consignment, reduce the consignment commission. Whatever is the remaining alone is going to be paid back to me. Do you get my point? This value is called net realizable value. Your market value is gross realizable value less your selling expenses or expenses without which the sale cannot take place. That gives me the net realizable value. Okay, so this is part B. So please take down part B. Part B. Under that, same 3 columns, particulars per unit total, particulars per unit total. Under that, normal selling expenses, normal selling expenses, or sorry, normal sale price. I told you selling expenses. Normal sale price, add or less adjustments. There might be a case where they might have given you the market value falls by 10%. The market is not having a good return and therefore 20% of the price has been fallen. Okay, so add or less adjustments, less commission payable, commission payable in bracket guaranteed commission only. Please write it in a different color pen. I will tell you what is this guaranteed commission only. In bracket guaranteed commission only. So the final value that you're going to receive is net realizable value, NRV. This is a internationally accepted abbreviation. You can use NRV to denote net realizable value anywhere. Clear? Now under that, for this guaranteed commission only, please make a note. Bonus commission is to be ignored. Only del credar and your normal commission is considered. Bonus commission is not considered. Clear? Bonus commission is to be ignored. Bonus commission is to be ignored. Okay? I know there is one more case pending of the 4 cases I told you. We will come back to that in a moment. Now let us first understand now let us start with the theory questions first, quickly. Okay. I am now in a few moments sharing my screen. Yeah. Yeah. So all of you guys are able to see my screen?
Yes,
Yes?
sir.
Right. So I want you to quickly answer these questions. All of them are going to be based on whatever we have seen so far. So in accounting, consignment means, please make a note of it. Please, no, I will tell you the answer along with the explanation. I want you to quickly make a note of it. This will be posted to you on the group after the session for your records. Okay. Please do not ping your answers. Please do not use the chat window for answering. I can't see all of your answers at one stroke. You are 70 people, whereas I'm only one person having 2 eyes. So, and I can see only one vision at a time. So multitasking is not possible for me. Quickly take down. We will then revisit for the answers. We will quickly complete this exercise in the next 15 minutes. Okay. So in accounting, consignment means I want you to take down the answer. Just write the option. Don't worry. This material will be shared with you at the end of the session. The second, goods sent on consignment should be debited by consignor to which account? Of the 4, please write down your answer. You can refer to the schema. You will know the answer. The next question. In the books of consignor, the balance of consignment stock would be shown as what? This is nothing but your closing stock. Think logically and answer. The next one. On the dispatch of goods, the entry in the books of consignee will be, when I am sending the goods, what is the entry which the consignee will have? The last one. The consignor is whom in the contract? Is he a principal, agent, debtor, or none of them? Okay. So the answers for the first 5 questions. In accounting, consignment means goods sent by its owner to his agent for the purpose of sale. Okay. Next, goods sent on consignment should be debited to consignment account. Option A. The next one. In the books of consignor, the balance of the consignment stock would be shown as an asset in the balance sheet. The next one. On the dispatch of goods, entry in the books of consignee will be no entry. Consignee is not bothered. Remember whose books you are making the accounting. The next one. The consignor is the principal of the deal. Okay, the next 5 questions. The consignee is, if the consignor is the principal, consignee is the agent of the deal. There's nothing much more to argue in that. So from 7 to 11, we are going to see. Account sales is submitted by, okay, this point I've not covered for you. You remember I told you that the consignee tells the consignor how much sales has happened and what are the expenses which he has incurred for which he claims the reimbursement. That statement is called as account sales. Okay. The account sales is submitted by the consignee to the consignor. Okay. So account sales is submitted by the consignee. Okay. Sorry, again, this question I've told you the answer then and there. Let's proceed with the next 5. In the books of consignor, expenses incurred by consignor should be debited to. Again, think logically and then answer. The next one. In the books of consignor, expenses incurred by consignee should be debited to. The next one. In the books of consignor, the acceptance of bills of exchange by the consignee will be credited to. This entry, please keep it on hold. I will give you the answer. We are yet to see. This is case 4. Okay, we are yet to see this part. So 10th one alone, keep it on hold. 11th. In the books of consignor, the acceptance of 11th also keep it on hold. So 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. In the books of consignor, abnormal loss should be credited to. This is again like your normal adjustment in your final accounts. Where will you credit there? The equivalent account will be considered here. In your normal accounts, abnormal loss is credited to trading. Here, trading account is what? That is the answer here. Okay. So coming for the 8th one. In the books of consignor, expenses incurred by consignor should be debited to the respective expenses account. Okay, or you can even take it as, here they have not given consignment expenses account, you can take it as consignment account, because all expenses are taken to consignment account eventually, which is your profit and loss account. In the books of consignor, expenses by consignee is also taken to the consignment account. Why? Because it is his expenses, he is just an agent, you are going to reimburse the consignee. The next one. In the books of consignor, acceptance of bills of exchange by the consignee will be credited to the consignee's account. Okay. I think you have 2 consignment account. I'll change this as consignee account. So in the books of consignor, the acceptance of bills of exchange by the consignee will be credited to consignee's account. I think one of them must be consignee. Sorry, friends. I think there's a repetition. Yeah. So in the books of consignee, acceptance of bills of exchange will be credited to consignor's account. 1 minute. We will make this as consignee so that you have consignor here. Okay. And we will take this as consignor because consignee is here. That is a bit reasonable. Okay, 10th and 11th, don't worry, we will look into the objectives. Okay, in the books of consignor, the acceptance of bills of exchange will be credited to bills payable, debited to. Sorry, I think I'm confusing all of you. Just bear with me for a moment. Yeah, so 10th and 11th, I am again reading it from the scratch. In the books of consignee, acceptance of bills of exchange by the consignee will be credited to, the entry is consignor. I'm just writing down the entry here. This is your entry. Okay. Now read the question again. In the books of consignee, this entry is in the books of consignee because consignor's account exists. Bills of exchange accepted by the consignee will be credited to bills payable account. I think the option is not there. Okay. In the books of consignor, the acceptance of bills of exchange by consignee, this will become bills receivable account debit to consignee. So in the books of consignor, consignee's account is there. So this is in the books of consignor. Acceptance of bills of exchange will be credited to consignee's account. Yeah, here you have the option. Clear? Sorry friends for the confusion because I had to mix and match between the questions, so I got confused. These are the entries which I will be giving you in part 4. Okay. The part 4 is settlement mode. Yeah. The 9th one, consignment account, option B. You can even take option C, but then it does not contain the prefix consignment. As I told you, I need to give the prefix consignment everywhere in this chapter. So it is general expenses will go to profit and loss account, whereas your consignment expenses will be taken to consignment account on the debit side. So any expenses incurred will indirectly be debited to your consignment account only. Okay, the 12th one. In the books of consignor, abnormal losses should be credited to consignment account. Remember, in your normal books, you will be taking it to trading profit and loss account. Here that is glorified as consignment account. So you will have to be taking it to consignment account only. The next one. In case of del credar commission, the liability of bad debts is on consignee. If del credar is paid, it is on consignee. In the books of consignor, the balance of goods, the balance in goods sent on consignment account is shown. This is again a repetition. It is shown on the asset side of balance sheet. In the books of consignee, the expenses incurred by him on consignment are debited to which account? You see what entry we did in the books of consignee, whatever expenses which is spent by him is taken to, what is the entry we saw? Just give a look. Quickly solve till 19. I will be back in a moment. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, friends. That was a call that I need to make. Yeah. So in the books of consignee, expenses incurred by him. What is the entry we process? It is going to be consignor account debit to cash or bank. So the entry is C, the 16th one. In the books of consignee, sale of goods is credited to. Where do you credit sale of goods? To consignor. You can't book it as a sale in the books of consignee. It is the sale of the consignor only. So it goes to consignor. The term account and the sale account are dash in nature. They are of equal in nature. I think this must be consignment account and sale account are equal in nature because both of them are nominal accounts. Okay, they are of equal cadre only. The next one. The consignment inward book or journal is maintained by. Now, who receives the goods? Is it the consignor or the consignee? The consignor sends the goods. The consignee receives the goods. When you receive, it is inward. So, who maintains this book? It is going to be the consignee. The consignee acts entirely on behalf of the consignor. Clear? All of you? Okay. The next one. Del credar commission is calculated on credit sale only. Okay. Remember the theory portion, please tick credit sale. Do not tick total sale. But in your problem, because the breakup will not be given, always consider total sale. 14 and 15 ka answer. On the asset side of balance sheet, in the books of consignee, expenses incurred by him are debited to consignor's account. A and C. Right. 21. Consignee account is in the nature of personal because he is a person. He is an artificial juristic person or an individual. Normal losses are due to unavoidable factors. Okay, normal losses are due to unavoidable factors. In consignee's book, acceptance of bills of exchange by consignee will be debited to consignor's account. If you remember, I wrote the journal here. Oh, where did we write? The 9th and 10th question, I believe. Yeah, look at here. In the books of consignee, it is consignor account debit to bills payable. So the last one will be debited to the consignor's account. Okay, so let's write case 4 also because we have seen all the questions in case 4. settlement mode. That is your case 4. Settlement mode. Okay. Under that, the settlement can happen either through cash or through, either through cash or bank, or through bills receipt, or through bills of exchange, or through bills of exchange. Okay, or through bills of exchange. If it is through bills of exchange, comma, if it is through bills of exchange, comma, the settlement entry is modified as follows. Please go back to the table. What did we write for settlement? In the books of consignee, it is going to be consigner to cash or bank. In the books of consigner, it is going to be cash or bank to consignee. So this will now become, instead of cash or bank, replace it with bills of exchange. That is, in the books of consignee, it is bills payable. In the books of consignor, it is bills receivable. So the settlement entry will become, consignor to bills payable in the books of consignee. Consignor to bills payable in the books of consignee. And bills receivable to consignee in the books of consignor. Bills receivable to consignee in the books of consignor. Always remember, bills payable for a person is the bills receivable for the other counterpart of the bill. Okay, so it is bills receivable to consignee. 1 minute. Mitty Jain, you have asked 17 and 21's answer. Just bear with me for a minute. Term consignment and sale accounts are of equal cadre or equal in nature. Okay, because both are nominal accounts. 21. Consignee account is a personal account. Option B. That's 17 and 21 for you. Okay. Sir, till any that point. Friends, for the objectives going forward, I'll give you along with the key, so please bear with me. Sairupa, can you just tell me till where you've written, if you don't mind? Because I don't understand what is this till any that point. Which point do you want? Okay. Okay, the settlement entry. I'm again repeating the settlement entry. In the books of consignee, it is going to be consignor account debit to cash or bank. So instead of cash or bank, it becomes bills payable because consignee has to pay the consignor. Now in the books of consignor, it is going to become cash or bank account debit to consignee. Here, cash or bank becomes bills receivable because he has to receive funds from the consignee. So bills receivable to consignee. This is your fourth case. Clear? Okay. Don't worry. The next part of the session, we are going to do robust problems in all the cases. Do not worry, Naren. We are going to start with that. Just give me a 4-minute break, a small rest for my throat. In that 4 minute, I want you to again go through all these which we have seen since today morning. My target is after this session, you should be so much confident in consignment that you can even attend a problem without preparing in your exam. Okay, so please keep revising again from the table where we started till all the 4 cases, the notes that I gave you. Okay, quickly, please do that. I'm placing myself on mute for the next 3 minutes. Any queries, kindly unmute. I am sitting before you. Okay. Friends, the meeting is not closed. For people who had pinged me whether they're asking the meeting is closed or not, meeting is not closed. Okay, all of you done with the revision? It's 8:30. Shall we begin with the problems?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. So, for each of this, we are going to find the following 6 numbers. Expenses of the consignor, value of the stock sent, expenses of the consignee, closing stock, consignment commission, and the profit on consignment. Okay? I want one of you whose volume is quite loud to read the problem for me. After every sentence or every detail that you read, kindly look at the board as to how I'm populating. Okay, this is basically analytical shortcut. You might use it in whatever format you want, but this is just a analytical shortcut that I have developed in order to quickly solve these consignment problems for all the above 6 points. More than this, there is nothing to be asked. Okay?
Shall I speak?
Sorry?
I'll read the question.
Yeah, yes, friend. Please read. The first problem. I believe my screen is visible to all of you.
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, fine. Good.
Mr. A consigned 100 units of a product at rupees 125 to Mr. B. Mr. A spent INR rupees 100 on loading, INR rupees 5000 on freight, and INR rupees 200 on insurance. Mr. B spent INR rupees 1500 on advertisement and 2000 on storage cost. All the goods were sold at INR 135 per unit. Consignment commission was at 5% on sales.
So loading 100, 5000 on freight. Right. So basically, if you see A sent goods to B, the cost of the goods 100 units at
Sir,
one,
it's
yeah,
1000 units at rupees
1000 units.
125, sir.
Okay, 1000 units at 125, and B sells these goods at 135. A is incurring all of 1, 2, 3 expenses. B is incurring all of these expenses. Now there is a commission. So 5% commission on sales, which is 1000 into 135 into 5%. What is the value? Quickly compute. 6750. Am I right? 6750. So what is going to be my sale? 13,000. Sorry, 1,35,000 is my sales. This portion is my sales. This into 5% is my commission. Agree? All of you agree? Right? So quickly prepare a P&L. Forget whatever name you call it as. Okay? What is my sale? 1,35,000. What is my consignors expenses total? 100 plus 200 plus 5,000, 5,300. What is my consignees expenses total? 1,500 plus 2,000, 3,500. What is my commission? 6,750. Agree? All expenses on debit, all incomes on credit. Have I missed out anything? I have missed out goods sent on consignment. My opening stock. Okay, how much is it? 1,25,000. 125 into 1,000. Yes or no? All of you with me? So far you are able to follow? So what is my balancing figure? Is it going to be a profit or a loss? I believe it must be a loss. What is my loss? $5,550 loss.
Sir, and the loading expenses is rupees 1000, sir, not 100.
Sorry?
The loading expenses is rupees 1000.
It's 1,000.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 6,000. It's going to be 6,200. So this becomes 6,450. Correct? 900, 141, 450. Am I right? Is this your loss? Am I right? All of you are getting this? Is my arithmetic right?
Yes, sir. The answer is right, sir.
Yeah, 6,450. Yeah, the number is right. Okay. So now again come back to the question. I think I need to stop my screen share when I'm doing it on the board. Do you find any difficulty in that?
We have an option viewing a video, sir.
Is it appearing clearly for you, or you want me to? Is this better, or you want? I can have the screen share on for the problem.
This is better, sir.
This is better. Okay. So this is how I prepared my consignment account. Okay. This is nothing but my profit and loss account. Okay. Clear? So what did I do? I took all expenses of consignor, I put it. All expenses of consignee, put it. Cent, I put it. Value of commission, I put it. Value of sale, I put it. I've closed it. I've got the profit. Simple. Profit or loss, whatever it is. Here, part one done. Now, when you wait, now I'm sharing my screen again. Now let's see. Yeah. So now here, if you see, expenses of consignor, we have found out 6,200. Value of stock sent on consignment 125 into 1000, 1,25,000. Expenses of consignee, it's going to be 3,500. We have found out. Closing stock, there is no closing stock here. There is also no stock loading here because I am not inflating the price. Consignment commission, we have found out 6,750. Profit on loss or profit on consignment. Profit includes loss is 6,450. I am adding one more item. Settlement of or settlement value on closure. Okay, I'm adding one more item to this. Now, very closely look. This is only from the consignee's perspective. Okay, the last one, settlement value. How much consignee has made cash through sales? Shall I stop my screen? Shall I stop my screen share so that you are able to see the board?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
I hope my board is fully visible. Yeah, fine.
Yes, sir.
So look at it from point B. B has to pay A how much for each of these items? Sir, 1,500 A has to pay B. So he will receive. I am placing all receipts as positive, all payments as negative. 1,500 A will pay B. 2,000 A will pay B. Okay, 670 A will pay B. 1,35,000 B pay A. Agree? What is the balance? $124,750. The segment value. Sum is done. Am I clear? Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
For settlement value, look into from the consignee's angle. Check whether the consignee has to receive or pay. If he has to receive, take it as plus. If he has to pay, take it as minus. Add up, you will get the consignment value. The consignment settlement value. Clear? Yes or no? Shall we go to the next sum?
Yes, sir.
All of you? Right. So second problem. You want to take this down? Please take it down. This is a very, very simple analytical reasoning concept. There is nothing to break at all in this. Okay. The only portion where you might find it tough is the place of the settlement where you're taking only B. You will have to ignore whatever A has spent because there is nothing to settle between B and A for A spending. B only has to get it reimbursed from A. Shall I proceed with the second problem? Shall I proceed, friends? All of you?
Please wait, sir.
Let me share my screen again. Yeah, fine. So again, one of you, please read the second problem. Oops, sorry. It's my desktop. Yeah. Please read the second problem. Any one of you?
Sir,
Yeah, yes, friend.
sir, I will be reading soon.
Yes, friend, please.
Mr. Aditya sent goods to Mr. Divakar at a cost of 10%. Mr. Divakar has to be paid a commission of INR 5 per unit plus additional commission of 15% on value sold above the invoice price.
So this
Mr.
is your
Divakar,
bonus.
both
Okay. This 15% on value sold above invoice price is nothing but your bonus commission. Okay. So your normal commission here they have given it as amount rupees 5 per unit plus 15% on value of sales above your invoice price. Okay.
Mr.
Yeah.
Divakar agrees to pay all of his portion of expenses without claiming any reimbursement.
Now, here consignee's expenses is what? Is zero. Why? Because our consignee, since I'm paying him this bonus, he is willing to take up the expenses of his share on his own. He is not willing to get it reimbursed from the consignor. Might be he has a better arrangement where he need not incur any expenses. He has his own facility for him to negate all those expenses. So he is agreeing to take it up on his own head. Okay. So here consignee's expenses, though detail might be given, consider it as zero. Clear? Yeah. Next.
Mr. Aditya sent 5,000 units of gift articles costing INR 150 each. These were sold at a total value of INR 9 lakhs. For sending the goods, Mr. Aditya incurred a total of 10,000 for insurance,
Okay.
freight duties, etc. And Mr. Divakar incurred INR 500 for handling charges.
This is immaterial. Why? He is not claiming any expense from him. So though this detail is given, ignore. Am I clear?
Yes,
Very
sir.
clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this 500 handling charges, please ignore. Now I am stopping my screen share. Stop sharing. Yeah, is my board clearly visible to everyone? Is my board clearly visible? Right. So if you see here, I am sending at cost plus 10%, which means what is going to be my invoice price? It is going to be 5,000 units of items I send into 150 per unit, which is the cost, plus 10% of this. Agree? So what is the value?
Yes, sir. 7,50,000 into 10%, which is 75,000.
Sorry? How much do you get? 5,000 into 150 into 1.1. 8,25,000. Do you get this number?
8,25,000, sir.
Okay. Now, so the value of goods sent on consignment is what? 8,25,000. So let me open up my profit and loss account parallelly on the other side. Okay. So I have 8,25,000. But what is the actual cost? It is only 7,50,000. Agree? Yes or no? 5,000 units into 150. It is only 7,50,000. Correct? Okay. So what is the difference? This is going to be 75,000, which is stock loading. So stock loading is on the opposite side of stock, as I told you. So 75,000 comes here. So when you balance the account, how much will you be left? You will be left with 7,50,000 only, because 825 debit netted off with 75 credit. So both will net off with each other. So this is my stock loading. Okay. Point 1 is over. Next, what are the expenses that Aditya incurs? 10,000, one single number for everything, comprehensive number. 10,000. Now, what is the sales that is made by Divakar? It is going to be 9 lakhs. Now, the commission becomes tricky here. Okay. So, now what is the invoice price per unit? It is going to be 150 plus 10%, which is 165. Yes or no? All of you with me? Sir, how did I find it? Per unit cost is 150. I'm invoicing at cost plus 10%. Therefore, 165 is the invoice price per unit.
Yes, sir. Yes,
What is the sales price per unit? 9 lakhs is my total sales for how many units? 5,000 units. Okay. So, what is the value you get? You get
180, sir.
180. So, what is my surplus over invoice price? I get 25 per
25.
unit.
Sir, it's 15, sir, not 20.
Sorry?
15, sir. 65 plus 15 is
Sorry, yeah,
165 plus
15, 15, 15. Sorry, bear with arithmetic. 15 per unit. Am I clear? Now, look at the commission. I have 5 per unit. So, 5 into 5,000 units I am selling, plus how much? 15% on sale value above invoice price, which is this 15 into 15%. For how many units? The entire 5,000 units. Do you understand? So my commission will be 5 into 5,000, which is 25,000, my basic commission, plus 15 rupees of surplus into 15% into 5,000 units.
It is 11,250.
How much?
11,250.
Yeah. 11,250 plus 25,000. Put together, how much do you get? 36,250.
36,250, sir.
This is my commission. Do you get this? I am not bothered about the consignee's expenses. Now compute what is my profit or loss. I think here you will have a profit. One not 3,750 is your profit, I think. Yes or no? Are you getting this? 975 minus 26.25. Sorry, 113,750. Correct? 1,03,750. My initial answer was right.
Sir,
Yeah, I'll again tell you, Jagan, fully. I'm again repeating the sum for the benefit of everyone. I know that I've made the board congested. Let me again erase and redo the workings again so that you are able to follow. Okay? So, my first question. Consignment sale, 9 lakhs. Invoice price, 5,000 into 150 into 110%. 10% above invoice price. Okay? So, this is going to be 8,25,000. Cost of goods, 5,000 into 150. This is nothing but 7,50,000. Therefore, loading will be 8,25,000 minus 7,50,000, which is 75,000. Okay. Next, coming to the commission part. So when it comes to commission, and just writing down one more item which was missed. 10,000 is the expenses of container that was there, which I erased accidentally. Okay. So coming to the into 110 per 100. Yeah, okay. Put it as this: plus 10%. Have it that way. When you're doing it in your calci, you'll have to do it this way. Okay. So loading is this much. So next one, we need to do the commission. So commission is of two parts. Basic, which is ₹5 per unit, and bonus. Now bonus is very simple. What is my sales? 9 lakhs. What is my invoice price? 8,25,000. Make it simple. Okay. I have a surplus of 75,000 into 15%. How much? 11,250. You compute in whatever format you want. Find out in per rate, per unit rate, then compute the commission. You will still get the same number. Whereas here in basic, you have 5 into 5,000, which is 25,000. So put together, you have 36,250 as your commission. There is no closing stock, so nothing to invoke here furthermore. Shall I prepare the consignment account? Shall I erase the summary part? So, in your consignment account, on the credit side, you have 9 lakh sales. You have 75,000 on the opening stock. You have opening stock of 825, which is goods and consignment. You have an expense of 10,000. Consignee's expense is 500 is ignored because it is explicitly given. Consignee bears his own expenses. You are left with the consignment commission of 36,250. You are left with a profit of 103,750. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Coming to the settlement part. When you come to settlement part, Divakar has to receive 36,250, which is his commission, as against a sale proceeds which he needs to pay rupees 9 lakh. So what is the settlement value? 9 lakh minus 36,250. So 870, 860, sorry, 870, 864, 860, Am I right? Am I correct? This is my settlement.
Yes, sir.
Simple. You are now able to understand the crux of this. Shall we go to the next problem? Friends, shall we move to the next problem? Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Please take it down. I'll give you 2 minutes. Please take it down. Shall we proceed? What is the profit in the sum? 103,750. Okay. All right. Let's proceed with the third problem. Okay, from this problem, I'm not going to use my board. I'm going to work it out in the Word document that you are seeing. Okay, I hope you now must have understood how to structure your working on your paper. Okay, right. The third problem. Samuelson sent goods to Mr. Ethiraj on 10th July 2020 to a cost of 25 lakhs. On immediate receipt of these goods, Ethiraj signed a draft for 4 months credit for 50% as security. 90% of these goods were sold for for 27 lakh 50,000. Sorry, bear with the commas, please. 27 lakh 50,000, and the remaining 10% remained unsold when the books were closed. Samuelson incurred 25,000 towards insurance, freight, and other charges. Ethiraj incurred 1,000 on unloading, 5,000 on storage, 2,000 on advertisement. He is entitled to a commission on 10% on the value of sales made. So, first question, expenses of consignor. What is going to be the value? Who is the consignor here? Samuelson. So, here you have it. Samuelson incurred 25,000 towards insurance, freight, and other charges. Okay, so one line 25,000. Clear? The next one. Value of stock sent on consignment along with loading, if any. So, what is the value of goods sent? Cost is going to be 25 lakhs. Is there any loading? No loading. Clear? The next one. Expenses of consignee. Etiraj incurred 1000 on unloading plus 5000 on storage plus 2000 on advertisement. So what is the total? 5, 6, 7,
8,000.
8,000, sir.
Closing stock, we need to work. So hold it. Consignment commission. What is told? 10% on sales, which is, what is my sales? 27,50,000 into 10%, which is 2,75,000. Okay? Profit and consignment we have to work out. Yes, friend? Any doubt?
Milk, preferably organic, some extra virgin olive oil, an egg, preferably free range and organic, some tap water, a flat round bowl for soaking, a small round mixing bowl and a spoon. You'll also be needing an electric blender, and the last key ingredient is kombu,
Friend,
which is a type of large edible seaweed which Koreans use to flavor their food.
I believe you've turned on your voiceover and just muting everyone.
And does wonders.
Yeah, fine. Okay, so now coming to closing stock. So we have part A. What is it? It is cost of goods. So let me open up the column. This is how you will do your working note quickly. Insert.
Sir, we can't see your screen, sir.
Sorry, 1 minute. Yeah, is it now visible?
Yes, sir.
I've just restarted my screen. Okay, so cost of goods. So let me open up the table. It's a 3-column table as I gave you. So I have particulars, cost per unit, total value. Okay, now do I know the number of units? Is it given in the sum? They have only given goods worth 25 lakhs, which means cost per unit becomes not applicable. Do you understand? So instead, I will take the 10% closing stock as the value. Look at here. What is given? It is given remaining 10% unsold. Okay, so this 10% is taken here. Now you remember why I told you please wait, allow me to do the problem. Okay, so this working note can even be on a percentage basis as well. So first one, cost of goods, how much we have sent? We have sent 25 lakh goods. 10% of this is 2,50,000. Next, what has happened? Consignor expenses excluding storage and ad, that is advertisements. How much is consignor spending? 25,000. On this 10% is going to be 2,500. Next, consignee expense, again excluding storage and advertisement. How much is consignee spending excluding storage and advertisement? Only 5,000 on unloading. 10% on this is 500.
Sir, it is
Total
1,000
cost.
on unloading, sir.
Sorry?
It's 1,000 on unloading, sir.
Oh, 1,000 on unloading. Sorry. So this is going to be 100. I took unloading 5,000 here. Okay. So my total cost is 2,52,600. This becomes not relevant. So my cost is done. Now part B. NRV. The same way, let me duplicate. So I have normal sale price. Now 90% has been sold at 27,50,000. So what is the remaining 10% which is unsold? 27 lakh 50,000 divided by 90% into 10%. What is the value? Three lakh 5,556. Do you get this? Friends, do you get this? Okay. So, less commission payable only guaranteed. Which means if there is a bonus commission, ignore take only the normal commission and del credit. I know my commission is 10% on sales, which is 30556. So what is going to be my NRV? My NRV is 305556 minus my 10% commission, which is 2,75,000. So now cost or NRV, whichever is less, which is 252,600 or 275, whichever is less. The answer is 2,75,000. Okay. All of you clear?
Sir, what is the answer, sir?
Sorry. So
What
my
is the
NRV is 275, 252,600 or 275,000, whichever is less. 252,600 is my closing stock. Sorry. I think I told you 275,000. Sorry. 252,600. This is how this working will look. Clear? So, profit on consignment. What is my consignment sale? 27 lakh 50,000. Add 252,600, which is my closing stock, less expenses of consign are 25,000, less expenses of consignee 8,000, less let me give you the jargons then and there so that you are clear. 25 lakhs cost of goods less 2,75,000 commission. So what is going to be my profit? Anyone? $194,600. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now for the last one, settlement value. Okay. Let me take the segment value slightly up so that you are able to see the other values as to where I am taking it from. Yeah. So segment value on closure. I have made a sale of 27,50,000. Correct? Minus 8,000, which is the, or rather, I need to pay, I will go by that logic. I need to pay 27,50,000 to my consignor, but I have to receive 8,000 plus 2,75,000. I need to get these two, correct? So what is the value? $24,67,000. Am I right? Am I right? Sir, I have made a sale of 27.5 lakhs. I have to pay this to my consignor, me being the consignee, that is Etiraj. Okay? But Etiraj spent 8,000, which consignor has to pay, plus a commission of 2,75,000 as on date. So my settlement value is 24,67,000. But if you very closely look into the problem, Etiraj signed 50% of the value of goods sent as a security, which means this is no more a normal consignment segment. A part of this has been transferred to bills payable. Okay, so minus 50% of 25 lakhs, which is 12,50,000. This is upfront signing a bill of exchange as settlement. Do you get my point? So this leaves the balance is how much? Or I will make it as plus 12,50,000. This is nothing but bills payable conversion. Okay, so how much do you get? 2467 minus 1250?
1217, sir.
17,000. This is my settlement value. Clear? Are you getting this? Now, do you find it a bit easier?
Yes, sir.
Don't worry, the solution will come as a part of this. I will also make a similar working for the first two and then send it to you. Yes, Bhuvaneshwari, you will get a PDF of whatever we have done so far for your friends. Okay, right. So the next one. Miss Kalevani Associates sent goods to Miss Veda for selling at an invoice price, which is cost plus 20% or above. The commission payable is 2% on sales and 25% of value over the invoice price. Kalevani purchased 10,000 bales of cotton and sent 8,000 of these to Veda & Co. at a cost of 2,000 each. These goods were received by Veda and a draft of 90% were sent on security. 50% of these goods were sold for 1 crore, 25% was sold for 49,000, 10% was taken up by Veda at invoice price less 5%. The balance remained unsold. So how much was sold? 50 plus 25, 75 plus 10, 85. 85% was sold. 15% of the stock is unsold. Due to demand of cotton coming down, the price of cotton is reduced at 5% at the location of the consignee. The total expenses incurred by Kalevani is 25,000 on insurance, 50,000 on freight and 35,000 for advertisement. Local sales amounted to 50,000 without any stock left over. Local sales here is Kalevani's own sales. If you see, 8,000 bales were sent. 2,000 bales remained at Kalevani's location. This 2,000 was sold at 50,000. Now, is this relevant for me? This portion is not relevant for me. Do you understand? Is this a consignment, this 2,000 units? No.
No, sir.
I am bothered only about this 8,000. Okay, I am not bothered about the 2000. Am I clear? Shall we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let us begin. First one, cost of goods sent. How much? 8,000 bales into 2,000 each, which is 1 crore 60 lakh, right? Yeah, sorry, 16. Yeah, 1 crore 60 lakh. Shall I proceed? Invoice price of goods sent. Now, when you very closely watch, what is given at invoice price, which is cost plus 20%. Okay, so this is nothing but 1 crore 60 lakhs plus 20%, which is 1 crore 92 lakhs. Okay, so stock loading 1 crore 92 lakhs minus 1 crore 60 lakhs. This is nothing but 32 lakhs. All of you clear with me so far? Okay, shall I proceed? The next one. Consignors expenses. How much? 25,000 on insurance plus 50,000 on freight plus 35,000 on ad. This gives me how much?
1,10,000.
1 lakh?
10,000.
Very good. Okay. 1 lakh 10,000. Consignees expenses. Is there anything? Consignees expenses, do you have anything? Read the problem. Nothing is given. So assume it to be nil. Okay. Now comes sales. Sales, what's happening? Sales, he says, I am now reading here. The one which I've just highlighted in yellow and red. Okay. 50% was sold for how much? 1 crore. 25% was sold for how much?
49 lakhs.
49 lakhs plus 10% was sold at invoice price less 5%. How will you find this? I know my total invoice price is 1 crore 92 lakhs into 10%. Okay, so this value minus 5%. So 1 crore 92 lakhs into 10% minus 5%. I think 18 lakh 24,000. Am I right? Am I right? Yes or no, friends?
Yes, sir. It is 18 lakh
Correct?
24,000.
18 lakh 24,000. So my total sales is 1 lakh plus, just add up only the ones that I'm highlighting in red. 1 lakh plus 1 crore plus 49 lakhs plus 18 lakh 24,000. These three numbers you will have to add up to get your total sales. Clear? All of you? Shall I proceed? Consignment commission. Now, what is the consignment commission? How much did we see? 2% on sales. Okay. So 2% on sales, which is 2% into 167 24,000. How much? 334 480. Correct?
334 480, sir.
This is basic. Now let's compute. I'll put it as basic. Now let's compute bonus. Bonus is how much? 25% of the value over invoice price. So 25% into, now let us very closely look at here. Okay. I'm going to do a small table. This is on a case-to-case basis. Okay. If you want, you can do it as a table. Else you have any other better way of understanding, you can please do it. Okay. So 50% of the goods. What is my invoice price? 1 crore 92 lakh into 50%, which is 96 lakhs. How much has he sold for? 1 crore. Am I right? 50% of the goods sold at this value, sold at 1 crore. So let me include one more column. So my surplus is going to be how much? 4 lakhs. So I have my percentage sold, invoice price of sales, sales, surplus. Clear? Now let's go to the second trench. 25%. So 192,000,000 into 25%. This is how much? 48 lakhs. How much am I selling this at? I am selling this at 49 lakhs. So what is my surplus? This much. 10%, 19 lakh 20,000. The same way. But this is being sold at what price? 18,24,000. There is effectively no surplus. Don't take it as negative surplus. So what is my total? Actually, this consignment sales, you can take it here also. 167,000 and my surplus is 5 lakhs. So my 25% into 5 lakhs, how much? 1,25,000. So what is my total commission?
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, can you explain again why there is no surplus in the third case?
Why we are?
Why there is no surplus in the third case, sir?
There is no surplus. No, it's effectively a loss. What was 19,20,000 of invoice price has now become 18,24,000 of sales. So effectively no surplus.
No sale.
So my total commission is 334,480 plus 1,25,000. How much? 459, 480. All of you are getting this?
Can you scroll down, sir?
Yes, friend.
Can you
Oh, you
scroll
want me to scroll down? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm doing a very advanced problem. Okay, the fourth and the fifth problem are quite advanced. The reason is because we do not know in what basis they will be testing you. Okay, so fifth problem is very much similar to the fourth problem, which I want you to try it out at home. I will give you the solution separately below the problem. Please do not look into the solution. Work it out on your own and then conclude it. Okay, shall we compute closing stock and the profit?
Yes, sir.
So now closing stock, part A, cost. Okay, so I'm again inserting the table as I told you. So I have particulars here. Here per unit is possible. Total, because I know the per unit. I am sending 8,000 units. Okay, so right, cost of goods sent. I know it is 2,000 per unit for 8,000 units. How much? 8,000 into 2,000.
1 crore
1 crore
60 lakhs.
60 lakhs. Okay, less consignors expenses. Remember, excluding, sorry, it's not less, it's add. Excluding add and storage. You should not spend for these two. Okay, how much the consignor is spending? 50,000 on freight, 25,000 on insurance, 35,000 add, ignore. So 75,000. This is for 8,000 units. For per unit, 9.375. You can even keep it as 9.38 because 0.005 paisa doesn't exist. Okay. So add consignee expenses nil. You remember consignee's expenses, nothing is there. Okay. So total cost is how much? 2009.38 per unit. This is not relevant. Clear? Now, part B, NRV. The same way, 3 columns. So, normal selling price. What is per unit? I have told to be sold at invoice price, which is my normal selling price, or if it's possible, more than that. So, normal selling price is my invoice price, which is going to be how much? 2,000 into, sorry, plus 20%. How much is this? 2,400 less adjustment if any. Now look into the problem. When you see the problem, it says due to the demand of cotton coming down, the price is reduced by 5% at the location of the consignee. Okay, which means there is going to be a 5% drop on what? 2,400 into 5% goes down. So this must be reduced. How much is 2,400? into 5%. 120
120, sir.
comes down. Do you get it? This is the adjustment I told you of. Less commission. Now, what is the commission you have told? You have guaranteed a payment of how much? 2% on invoice price. Am I right? Look at here. Basic consignment commission.
Yes, sir.
As I told you, bonus you have to ignore. There is no del credit. Del credit is 0. Basic consignment commission 2% on sales. So on this revised selling cost, what is 2%? 2,400 minus 120. That is 2,280 into 2% is how much? 45.6. Agree? Agree? Okay. So what is my NRB? 2,400 minus 120 minus 45.6, 2,234.4.
2,234.4.
So my cost of 2009.38 or my NRV of 2234.4, whichever is less. So closing stock is how much? Out of 8,000 units, I have sold 50%, I have sold 25%, and I have taken over 10%, which leaves me with what? How much? 15%. So 8,000 into 15%, 1,200 units. Okay, so the value will be 1,200 into 2234.4 or 2009.38, which is less. $24,11,256. Okay, now invoice price on closing stock. This is very simple. 1,200 into what is my invoice price? 2,400. How much per unit? 28,80,000. So stock loading on closing stock is going to be 28,80,000 minus 24,11,256, which is 476,744. Am I clear? All of you? So you have your stock loading. So now profit. This is my cost. Or rather, let me start from sales. 1 crore 67 lakhs is my sales plus my closing stock is 24,11,256 minus my goods sent on consignment is this plus my stock loading, which I found out is rather this is 192, which is my cost of goods sent, plus stock loading I have to ignore. So 192 minus 32 lakhs of stock loading Then what are the other expenses that I am incurring? 1,10,000 of freight. Sorry, 1 lakh of consignor's expenses. Consignee's expenses is nil. Consignment commission, how much did we find out? 459, 480. Correct? I have my sales, I have my closing stock, I have my opening stock, I have my loading on opening stock, I have my expenses of consignor, expenses of consignee, consignment commission. Any other entry that we have missed? I think we have covered fully. Okay? So this gives me a profit or loss of how much? 67 lakhs.
Sir, 25 lakh 41,776.
Sorry, how much? 20?
25 lakhs 41,776.
770.
776.
Yeah, 776. So this is my profit. Am I clear? Am I clear, friends? This is one full-fledged consignment problem. See, problem size is only this much, but we have been doing this problem for the past half an hour. I started by 9:10. I was hoping to close this by 9:30, but then it took additional 8 minutes further. Okay? It's all in the way you apply things. Okay? Consignment sales, I've given it below. You can even look into this working note. 1 minute, 167.24. Sorry. Increase your profit by 24,000, friends. Sorry, my bad. So this becomes 65. Yeah. Arithmetic error. Clear? All of you, are you fine? Okay. The fifth problem, I want you to do this part B. What if del credar is not paid? Okay. Part A, we will do it tomorrow, first thing. Try out part A. You will just have one more commission. That's it. Nothing else. Okay. But then you have bad debts. So try out part A. Part B, you can do it. Part B is the normal problem. Just that you will have bad debts appearing in expenses. That's all. Apart from that, it's the same thing. Clear? Let me, send this material to you. Okay, I'll do one thing. I'll just work out the solutions for the first and the second problem, and then I'll send the material to you. Something. Sir, the fourth problem, profit, can you explain the amount? What are the expenses included? All of the consignor's expenses, friend. 1,10,000 of consignor's expenses plus the total commission that we computed. 459, 480.
Sir,
Yeah.
what is 2411256?
Closing stock. Sales plus closing stock minus opening stock minus loading minus expenses. Expenses is consignor, consignee is nil. So if unit is nil minus consignment commission. That gives me the profit. Okay. Good. So hope today's session was effective. All your consignment queries must have been sorted to a major extent. I will meet you guys tomorrow morning 6:30 again, and we are going to begin with joint venture. I am giving these two topics upfront because I want you to now practice your other classroom problems And for my Bharadwaj friends who did the coaching here, I want you to redo all the consignment problems that we did in class in this method to see now if you are able to better understand this concept and the method of analytical skill. Okay, please ensure you are doing this. Do not skip. This is a very, very important chapter where they can make the question paper tough. Okay, so please do not skip this. That is why one full day I've allotted only for consignment. Similarly, the next full day is only for joint venture. After these two topics, we are going to see all of our problems, that is BRS and rectification, on one single day, and the other, that is your 11th and 12th standard final accounts till final accounts, your basics and final accounts on the last day. As I told you, I'm going on the reverse mode. Okay. Yeah, the recorded version will be uploaded, friend. Don't worry. I will coordinate with the admin team accordingly. Here, thank you very much for staying online. Hope it was, explanatory for you. Thank you. You can disconnect from the meeting.